Hey, what's up, guys? Just a quick, I just got out of work vlog. 'Cause I haven't done a vlog in a while. Just a quick rant right now. I'm just go straight into it. Just come out and say it. I think one of the things that really annoy me the most are when people are talking about their favorite shows from the 50s, 60s, 70s, or even the 80s, or 90s too, for that matter. You know, when they're like, oh man, there's a big truck going by. Oh, hey, oh, was that the truck we were looking for? Never mind. Sorry, that was one of our trucks. Anyway, hey, when people are like, when they talk about shows like this, like, oh man, I hate it. You couldn't make a show like that now because fucking cancel culture sucks and blah, 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 and all the people are whining. And it's like, no, is it because it's cancel culture that wouldn't, let it fly, so to speak? Or is the fact that back in the days when such and such a show was on, there was just shit in it that was acceptable then that's not acceptable now? Like, All in the Family keeps getting brought up. And admittedly, I have watched that as a kid because I'm old, so I remember the new episodes when they were putting them up on I believe it was CBS. Yeah, there were sometimes there was funny things in there, but really there's a lot of it that even as a kid bothered me then. The whole stereotype thing, it bothered me then. I'm like a young brown kid, and it still bothered me. And there's a lot of shows like that. I mean, there's shows that I actually enjoyed growing up. You didn't think about it much, and then when you're older and you understand how life is nowadays, and you go back and watch this shit now, it's like, oh my fucking god, it's cringy as fuck. Married with Children, I used to really like that show. It was funny to me then, and look back on it now, it's like, ugh. Granted, I know at the time, one of the writers, who was actually one of the stars of the show, was kind of making fun of certain things. Like, it was like making fun of people that were like trying to be all macho and everything. And that was cool and all, but I think the message was kind of muddled, and, people like, well, oh, buddies, like, should be like all men. It's like, no, not quite. The show was funny, but goddamn. But, there's a lot of shows that I enjoyed. I can't even watch now. No, they wouldn't fly now because they're just, Does anybody remember a show called Drawn Together? It was on Comedy Central. It was animated. It was like a animated reality show. And when I watched it, I thought it was fucking hilarious. I recently saw it on a streaming service. I think it was on HBO Max. Yeah, it was HBO Max. And I was like, ooh, you know what? I haven't watched that in years. Let's watch that. Watching them, like, first episode, I was like wondering how come they haven't tried to reboot this yet. Then watching maybe 10 minutes into it, I'm like, oh, that's why. Ooh. It's just like certain things, as time progresses, some things are not quite as acceptable as they used to be. And it's not necessarily, some things weren't really acceptable then. Well, they were to some people, but Like, you know, like a lot of TV shows that had lots of casual racism in it, especially in the 70s and the 80s. It was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? It's like people did say something about it, but you know, it's like, the fucking blacks, they can't take a joke. They're fucking gays. You know. Back then, racism and homophobia and gay bashing, all that. It was all family fun. People joked about, beating their wives and stuff, because they thought it was funny back then, and now it's like, oh, wait, ooh. So, yeah, and really, let's be real here right now. Most of the people who whine about, like, stuff like that, like, oh, everything's too PC now, and like, oh, it's this cancel culture is just ruining our childhood, blah 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 blah. Most of the people who say that, let's be honest, are straight white men. Seriously. I'm not saying men of color don't do that, and I'm not saying there's women that don't do that, because there is. But 90% of the people who do that are straight, cis, heterosexual males. These same guys that white people who try to, mansplain racism to you. And it's like, oh, that's not racist. Like, no, that was pretty racist. No. You don't know what racism is, black guy. It's funny. I thought I did. I thought I experienced that shit firsthand, but oh, I guess this white guy told me I don't know anything about it. I'm not even sure if this rant is making sense. It might make sense. I'm just like, it's been a rough day. This has been a Monday, and it's just been very annoyed already, and it's kind of angry anyway, and it's just shit like that hits a certain way. It's like, really? It's not, like I said, it's not so much that cancel culture is ruining the childhood you knew watching these shows. It's just those shows don't age well. I mean, once again, I get it. Some of those shows were, in a way, were kind of like making fun of people. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, from what I understand, like, the whole thing with All in the Family, I mean, with Archie Bunker, they're kind of basically making fun of that type of person. But in a process, they were kind of making that type of person like pretty much all American hero, so to speak. Like, at least some people took that way, And there was another show, it was like a spin-off show, Archie Bunker's Place, I guess. If I remember the premise, he was kind of like changing a little bit. He wasn't the way it was actually pretty done pretty well, I haven't seen it in years, so I couldn't tell you. It's been a long fucking time. But yeah, a lot of like I said, a lot of the old 70s and 80s shows, especially, and 90s definitely too. But 70s, 80s, they had like a lot of stereotypes. And like I said, that shit bothered me then. Growing up, as a kid, brown skin, poor, discovered I was queer, and then I turn on a TV show, and it's like, no, there's nothing really representing me, just stereotypes, basically, making fun of me and just making light of certain things. I don't know. Like I said, if I was a straight white man, I probably wouldn't even bother him. Like, oh, Get over it, you know. But I'm not, so I guess it's gonna bother me. I guess it's on me, right? Anyway, just ranting. I will be back with another video that's not pitching a bitch, you know, and angry. I'm working on some more stuff. Just got some time. We need some time to do it, basically. But thanks for just listening to me here. Fucking rant into the void. Well, not to the void. The void known as YouTube. Possibly Facebook if you're watching this there. Hi if you are. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.